Hello everyone, I'm going to give you a very basic overview of Amplify Science. I'm still learning the ropes on it, so it's going to be a very basic overview, but then the other thing I'm going to show you is how you can convert an Amplify Science lesson into Nearpod. There's two different ways you can do it, and I'll show you both ways. So first things first, when you go to Clever, you're going to find Amplify at the very bottom. Now I've favorited it, so it's at the top of my favorites, but it's this orange square that says Amplify, and when you click on it, it's going to take you to home. Now, fun thing I learned actually is if you do go to like a lesson or like a chapter and you exit out, when you go back, it's actually going to pick off where you left off. So I don't know if that's every time, but in the times I've done it, I've been in the middle of looking at a chapter and I'll close the tab and go back in it and it'll take me where I left off. So that's something to know. But this is going to show all the units and how many lessons are in each unit. So if you click on the unit, so this one's Patterns of Earth and Sky. It's going to show you the chapters in each lesson for each chapter, and then a unit overview, which is what's the unit about, a unit map, okay, progress build, which is like what the students are going to be learning as they go through the unit, materials preparation. Most of the stuff is self-explanatory, standards at a glance. 3D statements is the NGSS different cross-cutting practices, disciplinary core ideas, cross-cutting concepts, and it's all color-coordinated, which is really nice. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is flex extensions. And they say this is for students to explore scientific phenomena by engaging in scientific practices. It's hands-on, so it's like a deeper understanding if they're already getting it and you want them to kind of deepen their knowledge of it. And then there's also printable resources up here. But let's go ahead and go to Chapter 1. So these are all the different lessons, and it gives you a chapter overview at the bottom. But if I go to 1.1, it kind of gives you the same kind of thing as before: overview, vocabulary, materials and prep, and then digital resources. If you click on Classroom Slides 1.1, it's going to save it for you or it's going to download it for you. So if I go here, PES Resource Classroom PowerPoint, I can have this as an offline PowerPoint. All right. Now, I already saved it under a different name, so I'm going to use the one that I saved because I deleted this first slide. I'm going to use that one that I already saved, and I'm going to download it to my Google Drive. Okay, now I titled it Amp Science 1.1. So when you go to your Drive, you go to New, File Upload. Now, I know I titled mine Amp Sci 1.1, so that's what I'm looking for. And there it is right there. It's the same presentation, I just deleted the first slide, which was for the teacher anyway. And it takes a few seconds to download. This says less than a minute left. And when you download it, it's going to still be in the PowerPoint format. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert it to a Google Slide format, and then there's two different ways we can use that Google Slide into Nearpod. Now on Nearpod, I thought what you could do is you could upload the file. So if I'm on Nearpod, now I've already downloaded the lesson, so because it does take a while, so I'll show you that in a second. But typically, if the PowerPoint's not long, you could upload the PowerPoint itself by going to Select Local File and going to the actual PowerPoint. So I just skipped it, so let me go back up to it. So it's under Downloads, but in this case, if you look when I try to do it, it says it's too large. So what I have to do, my workaround for that is I have to actually download it as a Google slideshow, and then I can upload it onto Nearpod. So here it is. It's ready to go. When I click it, you'll see I can open it with Google Slides. It just gives me a basic overview here. So I have to open it with Google Slides. Now, even though I opened it with Google Slides, it's still a Microsoft PowerPoint, and I'll show you why once it opens. The reason why this is not yet a Google Slides is because you can see right here it has .pptx and it says Microsoft PowerPoint format, and it also doesn't have the add-ons bar, which would be up here. Well, we need that. So what we need to do to convert it to a Google Slides is we need to go to File, Save as Google Slides. Should take a brief moment. And now it doesn't have the .pptx. It's now Google Slides, and we can see here, there's our add-ons. So it's the same exact thing. It's just now it's in Google Slides. And so what you can do for Nearpod is you go to Add-ons, and right here is Nearpod. And when you open Nearpod, it's going to give you all the stuff that Nearpod has. So you can ask an open-ended question here. What do you know about patterns, or maybe I could say, what patterns do you see in our planet and in the sky? And that could be something as like an anticipatory set for the students to look at. And so when you have it here, when you go to Nearpod, you're actually going to see the lesson I made. So I think I might have to refresh this. Yep, and here it is. It's not saved, but as you can see, when I go to edit, it's going to take me back to Google Slides. See how I go right back to Google Slides? So all my editing for this is going to be Google Slides. And this is good if you like Google Slides. You can use just the add-on for Nearpod, and you can add your activities on here and just go back. When you go to Nearpod, you can present it as if it was still in Nearpod. So I can save that if I want to. But I actually prefer having everything on Nearpod. So this is a lesson that I made on Nearpod. And you can see that because when I edit it, it doesn't take me to Google Slides. It takes me to the Nearpod site still. And I kind of like this a little bit better. It's really dealer's choice. For me, the Nearpod itself gives me a couple more things to play with. So the way that you can do that, and I'm going to just keep that there, but you go to create your own lesson in Nearpod, upload files, and then when you go select from file from Google Drive, and you can take your Google slide, so this one, select it, and I'm not going to do it right now because it does take a few minutes, but when you select it, it actually will make the whole thing into a Nearpod lesson and keep it on Nearpod for you. So like I said, if you're familiar with Google Slides and that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. Feel free to do that. You can see the difference. I can preview this one because it's the Nearpod one. This one is the Google Slides one, so it's only when I edit it, it's going to take me right back to Google Slides. So if you're familiar with Google Slides and you want to keep it, that's the way to do it, is you go to the add-on. You have to save it as a Google Slide anyway, but then you can go to add-ons and open a Nearpod. If you like Nearpod better, create your own lesson in Nearpod and then just upload the files. Because the lesson was so large of a file, I couldn't do it directly from PowerPoint. I thought I would be able to, but it was too large of a file, so that Google Slides is a workaround. So that's it. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. And good luck with Amplify Science.